Mr. Tutalik, congratulations. Are in order. You are the first manager to begin to represent talent in OMGW. Some might say managers in a company where all the talent have ownership stake might be unnecessary, though.
Some people? Interesting. I would counter by saying it is never more important than in this ecosystem. In a land of owners, how do you decide who gets to be the boss? The way this company works is while the talent have all the ownership stakes, they have elected a championship committee, a group of smart individuals that act as a third party to decide who the matches and contenders are for the events. This keeps things honest and fair. However, with a third-party committee being in charge, a manager is a perfect position to act on behalf of the wrestlers advocating for their clients.
Well, wasn't Logan advocating for the High Bloods as well?
Well, yes, that is very true. But what did that get them? It's not Logan's fault. How can Logan, who is talent in OMGW, that is in competition with other talent, truly advocate for anyone but himself? The answer is he cannot. That is why the High Bloods came to me, and now I have put them on the path to glory. They will vanquish the Golden Boys tonight and take their first real steps towards dual team gold tonight. Mark my words. And good day, sir.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and you have chosen for whatever reason to tune into another Horrible Gaming Podcast. It is with a heavy heart that I have to inform you all. Well, most of you probably know that we lost one of our most important and influential community members and a friend to all of us, someone who was there for us at all times. That's the Secretary of Defense, Kevin Kaiser. You heard at the beginning of this show, during the cold open, one of his all-time favorite shows on the channel was OMGW. He played Kevin Tutalik II, so I picked out the best promo. That was our cold open. We're going to get into some fan traction, and we're just going to talk about some nice things that were said about him. And then also, as a little bit of a tribute, I have cut out my interview with him on a previous podcast, and we are going to use that for the talk down. And I just want to take a moment here before I get into the fan traction and everything, before I get into the credits and everything, and just say that there wouldn't be an Old Man Gaming without Kevin. He literally commented on every show that we ever did, and we released a show literally every day of the week. There was many times when I didn't want to do this anymore, when I wanted to stop, and he just the fact knowing that, like, if I didn't post it, Kevin wouldn't be able to watch it. So it's a real bummer because Old Man Gaming is so tied directly to him that I think we all feel this loss very heavily, very heavily. So just want to say thoughts and prayers go out to his family and all of the people there. And Kev, you will be missed, and we are not going to stop. So with that said, we've got to do a couple of credits, as it is the way it is. But before we get into that, I do want to just say, joining me, because other terrible stuff is going on right now, and unfortunately my normal co-host, A Tiny Wizard, could not be here tonight. He is having some personal issues. I don't want to say anything because I don't know that it's allowed to say, but just everybody send him well wishes right now. But to replace him, to step in, and to hang out with me today is my lovely wife, Melissa.
Hello.
Van Sliders, you're going to have to scoot in. There's no way they heard that.
Hello. I am sure I'm not a replacement,
No.
but a stand-in.
Yes. But thank you. Thank you for doing the podcast with me, especially such a terrible subject matter-based podcast.
Yeah, it sucks.
So we're going to go into credits, then we'll get into the fan interaction, which will be a little bit depressing, but, you know, we got to honor our friend here, everybody. So first and foremost, if you're watching this on YouTube, behind the fancy timestamps, you're going to see fancy graphics. Any one of those that I didn't steal from the internet, Mr. Mark Bell custom made for us, and we thank him for that. And then, of course, the theme song for this and all of the shows here on OMG are provided by the man who makes the music, my brother Nick Van Sliders, and, of course, we thank him for that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment, and definitely Kevin's favorite segment, which is fan interaction. I do want to say one other tribute that we are going to pay to Kevin is because he was fan interaction on so many different occasions for the podcast. We are going to disable comments for this specific podcast. We'll have comments back up next podcast, but for this one, just in honor of Kevin, we're just going to disable the comments and have basically a universal moment of silence for somebody who provided so much content for us as a channel. So just so you know, if you try and comment on this on YouTube, you won't be able to. That being said, for fan interaction today, I want to specifically focus on, everything everybody said as usual, but I want to go back through the lounge and just talk about some of the wonderful things people said when they found out about Kevin. Tiny Wizard, co-host, couldn't be here, which is a real bummer, but he had said, honestly, I can't believe it. I never met him in person, but he always talked like I'd known him for years. He reached out to give me tips on my first PC build, shared a bunch of Star Wars and Marvel memes, and invited me out to trading card tournaments. He will be sorely missed. I know Neil wanted to be here for this show, and those words don't truly build it up, but he was one of those guys that was always there for you. Always there for you. Phil Billy, the other founder, weighed in. Yes, Filthy Phil posted a meme of respect. And then Phil Billy posted, Cav will be definitely will be missed. He was a huge part of Old Man Gaming and the OG supporter of the channel. But more than that, he was a cool dude. As I never met him in person, I talked to him on the phone and through gaming many times. He was always willing to help when I needed his knowledge about PC building and PC gaming in general, and was just a nice guy to talk to in general. Switch263, who literally joined our community because of this, just wanted to pipe in and mention that Kevin spoke very highly of everyone here, and that this channel was very important to him, and I don't think that this channel was as important to him as he was to us. Echelon Cake also commented, I'm so sorry to hear about this loss, Zach. I didn't know him in real life, but he was always so welcoming and down to joke and poke fun alongside me. I could only imagine his big personality in person. My heart goes out to you and everyone else. The community will miss him. Yeah, the community will miss him. I can't say enough how terrible this loss was. Melissa, if you want to chime in.
My exposure to Kevin was not so much through gaming. I think I met him probably 20 years ago through you. And there was a period of time where Zach and I were not in touch after that, and I will say that of all the people that I had met during that time frame, Kevin was definitely one of those that I remembered and I thought of. I mean, not necessarily often, but you'd see something on television or hear something in conversation, and he was one of those people that just kind of stuck with you, that you certainly did not forget him, He was always very kind, and just a genuinely nice person. Seemed very accepting, regardless of your views, personally, politically, religiously, whatever. Like, he didn't care everybody as long as you weren't an asshole. He was a cool dude, and I think that's awesome. I think, as far as his channel goes, he, in the Prelude shows, he's always commenting, and he's always very kind, and I know that those shows are not necessarily the most game content. They're not professional gaming shows by any stretch of the imagination, and I know Kevin was really into gaming and whatnot, so I appreciate that he seemed to genuinely enjoy our show, and I know he said some very kind things about us and our relationship.
I was actually trying to
in
find
comments.
it.
I can't remember where it was, but I know he said some genuinely kind things, and I appreciate that, and I'm gonna miss knowing that at least one person will comment on our videos.
That was the big thing for me. Is it was you always expect a Kevin comment on everything, and he had actually said specifically that us was the way love was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think it was like he shared one of our videos or something.
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly.
Because it was a full post. He had said me and Phil was like two guys hanging out drinking beer.
Yeah.
Me and Neil was like a comedy show, and then you and me was like what love was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that was one of the nicest things anybody's ever said about a relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or at least that they've ever said to me.
Yeah.
About it. So I mean, we're not going to go on too much more about this. We are going to do some podcast stuff today. We're going to talk about the Game Awards.
I did want to say real quick, because
I
know you're turning off comments, and certainly...
Just for one episode.
Right, just for this episode, but certainly, if people feel a need to give thoughts and whatever, if they want to put those in writing, your Discord is there, and you're waiting to find out his family was supposed to be setting something up, possibly, and certainly that will be shared with everybody.
If there's some sort of GoFundMe or some sort of thing for like that, family. We will do something on the channel for it. I'm waiting to hear confirmation one way or the other on that. And yes, while we are disabling comments on the YouTube, kind of as a solidarity thing for him, as a tribute to him, please, if you want to speak about Kevin, you can reach out to us, not just on Discord, but Facebook. You can DM me on Twitter. I'm in a lot of places. Feel free to communicate with me. I will always respond to you, and I have no problems hearing whatever. Reach out. And if you want us to say something about him and you didn't get it up before our commentless episode here, please reach out to me and I will read it anyway on the next one. Kevin was fan traction. He was, we made a joke that fan traction was Kev traction.
Right.
So it just feels like the right thing to do to as kind of like a universal moment of silence, I guess, in his honor. With that said, though, we are going to do a show today. We're going to talk about the Game Awards nominees, and we're going to do some odds and ends. But before that, we have one final tribute to pay to Kevin, and that is he did an interview for the show with me, because I like to interview the fans when we do, when we have to take weeks off and stuff. And Kev was probably the first person I got in touch with, because he's been a fan since the beginning. So I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to put it here in place of the talk down. So please enjoy this interview of Kevin, and just remember all the greatness that was Kevin. And Kevin, you will be missed, man. You'll be missed sorely by everyone on this channel, and hell, everybody you ever talked to or knew. You were a nice guy who helped people out whenever you could. So, all right. We will move on.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Okay, so my next guest, everybody who listens to this podcast, this guy is the sole source of comments. He is the commenter extraordinaire. Many times fan interaction becomes Kev interaction. I'm talking about Kev Too Tall. Kev, I would have to say you are our biggest fan. I hands down, as much as I'm sure there might be somebody out who's like, hey, no, I am. You watch every show. You contribute at least a comment to every show. So just want to say thank you for being here, man.
Well, it's fun and enjoyable. So gotta let it be known.
Well, I appreciate it. And so does everybody else who works on the channel. And we want to take this time to talk to you and find out a little bit more about you, the man behind. And I just want to say again to everybody out there, Kev, if we could pay Kev and give him a job, we would immediately make him our community manager without even blinking an eye. But since we only ever lose money on this channel, we cannot do that. So Kev, I want to talk to you specifically about gaming because this is a gaming podcast. And I like to start with the beginning for everybody. So what was your first experience with gaming that you can remember?
The Atari 2600.
Ooh, taking it old school.
It's a long life.
Was it a positive? Yeah. Was it a positive experience, the Atari 2600?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because it was the system and the first 20 games were a gift from a family friend, so they were technically secondhand, even though this was actually mid to late 80s to begin with, when that stuff was technically new. But so that meant a lot of games didn't come with the instruction booklets.
Yeah,
and there were some Atari games. If you didn't have an instruction booklet, you were throwing darts in a dark room.
Well, all they could do was squares and circles. If you didn't know what they meant, there was no subcontext.
One of them I think was called Haunted House, and there was things that showed up when your guy lit up his little match that they were certain shapes and they meant certain things, and without that book, there was no way to know what they meant.
I only remember Adventure being like that. Adventure was the one that drove me nuts because you were just a square looking for a key, but that didn't look like a key, and you had to fight a dragon that didn't look like a dragon. It was
no, see, there was no dragon. This was just two hallways with interconnects in the middle and a little rooms on the side sometimes, and you were just these two eyes that occasionally, when you got to light your torch, you turned into two eyes with an orange glowy ring around you, and you had to find keys. You had to find keys, and I think I think there might have been some kind of weapon thing to defend yourself against the monsters. But that was, it was terrible.
Well, that leads into my next question then. What is your best experience with gaming that you can remember?
Experience?
It can be a game. It can be an actual time. It can be anything. All these questions are open to interpretation.
I'll be honest. I've always socially played games, but I think the biggest breakthrough for me probably actually came even after I had played on a computer network with a bunch of computers, was, believe it or not, the original Halo and 4 Xboxes and God knows how many giant network cords and TVs lugged throughout a house so that our group of friends could have 16-player Halo with 4 people on each Xbox, but yet nobody could screen sheet because each TV was in another room.
Yeah, and I remember the screen cheating devices too.
That was just amazing. I was already addicted to Diablo 2 by then, and we'd had Smash Brothers parties And this was even after playing just original Halo at your guys' house,
Right.
and Nick punching through controllers.
Yeah, just so that everybody knows, me and Kevin kind of grew up together. I mean, we were kind of older when we met, like teenage. I mean, I think late teenage.
We were high school.
High school, but we've known each other for a very long time.
So
yes, so and I remember those LAN parties. It's one thing that nowadays gamers just will never experience. It's like something we get that nobody else does.
Yeah, like they don't have to pack up their Xbox and bring it to their friend's house.
No, they
so
don't.
That you guys can sit two people next to each other and play Halo.
Right. You don't get the parties where like everybody's in a different room screaming at each other. Like,
yeah,
it's just that experience is lost. Like it existed in such a finite amount of time. It was nice that we got to be a part of it. Actually,
Yeah, it was.
So that transitions into my next question. Who is your favorite person to play games with? Or people. However you want to answer the question.
Person or people. Favorite to play games with. Probably. Been a really long time. I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna have to say. Oh.
This is a stumper on you.
Yeah. Woo. Currently, I love the Halo nights we have.
Yes.
Because that comes really close to the not necessarily just because of the game, but like the high schoolish times of games. But if I miss playing with one specific person, I would have to go with Ben Falkenstein. That is because that man's ability to kill people with a gun in a game, probably second to none.
Yeah.
And just the things, the randomly absurd without being vulgar things he would say would just blow your mind, because he would put things together that made no sense, but yet it sounded right when he fucking said it.
Yeah. He was really good. I remember that. I mean, him and my brother would have some epic duels back in the day.
Oh yeah.
It was like whoever got them on the team was like definitely going to win. Like,
well, yeah, we couldn't let them be on the same team.
Oh, they couldn't. It would just be over.
Exactly.
I liked it when they were on separate teams too, because they just tried to find each other at that point. Like they just didn't even care about anything else. They just wanted to be the person who killed the other one, who was the best.
Exactly.
Well, let me go ahead and ask you a little bit more of a specific question to you. Now, you have been PC ride or die since before our channel even started. You definitely were a guy who pushed PC, and while I don't think Phil Billy got the idea to go PC from you, you were technically the first in our community to be like full-blown PC. Or at least our close community. So I gotta ask, why PC? What was it about PC? And don't get me wrong, I love my PC. I'll never go back either. But what was it about PC that made you jump to PC?
Games that were exclusive to the PC at the time. Diablo 2, StarCraft, all the real-time strategy games. Like I've played so much Command and Conquer and StarCraft and Diablo. Well, Diablo's not real-time strategy, but like I've played so much Diablo 2 and Command and Conquer and StarCraft and then eventually it bled. And for a while there was World of Warcraft. Yeah. I'm glad
it gets everybody eventually. I'm the only person I
that.
know who's avoided it completely, I think.
I'll be honest, I dip my toes back in it once in a while.
Yeah.
But it's only for like a month, and because little nostalgia fun here and there. But
yeah, I do remember you were very into it back in the day.
Yeah,
so it was the games then. It was the games that pulled you in, not necessarily
it was
all
totally
PC
the
stuff.
games. Now, mind you, I've kept with most consoles even through the time, because that's where my friends were still playing. But,
Right.
you know, I have over time built friends that are PC friends. And you get to keep the PC friends the whole time because you build a new PC, same PC friends.
Right.
Don't have to, oh, hey guys, are we getting the PS4 or the Xbox One this time? Oh, well, we're going PS4 because Xbox is saying they're doing all these things that we don't like. And like that divided the crew. We literally went from like a 10-man group to 4-man groups.
Yeah.
When those systems launched because of things that were, you know, supposed to gonna happen and yada yada yada. And it really sucked because I liked playing with my friends.
Yeah. 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 I totally get it. It was it really sucked when they divide, and it just goes to show that exclusivity is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's one thing about gaming that you want to be changed, like overall?
Cross-platform needs to be a thing everywhere. I'm not saying that if now PC's a little different. So like I'm not a big fan of there being 30 different launchers for games, but I am on a PC. It doesn't matter what brand PC I have access to those games regardless of the launcher. Like with a PlayStation or an Xbox, you're restricted to PlayStation and Xbox games.
Right.
You can't get, you know, that Epic Game Store exclusive game on your PlayStation necessarily.
Right.
I think they're working on things like that, but like I understand like consoles are supposed to help you sell the games.
Mm-hmm.
So make the better console and get all the games.
I'm with you.
You know,
I'm totally with you on that.
or actually just make the better console, and the console will sell itself, and everybody will just buy all the games.
Right. We could go down a rabbit hole on this, but I want to keep it focused on you.
Well, I think I can make a real short statement that you and I would agree on.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be about the hardware. It needs to be about the experience of the console, the software, the ease of use,
Right.
and the things that it offers.
Right.
Like if Sony were to come out swinging and offer an amazing experience, people would buy more PlayStations.
I agree.
Then the developers would come, and the developers could just put their games on wherever they want them to be.
Right.
Because the developers want you to buy the games.
Right.
Well, we want you to buy the games on our consoles, so we're going to provide you with a better console. Don't worry about the games.
Right.
Provide the better experience.
Right. Exactly. You're right. I can 100% agree with that. I think that the console wars, if you could even call it that, should be about the services you provide, not necessarily the games that are walled off by your system.
Yeah.
But, okay, so let's go ahead and move on to something a little bit more egotistical and self-centered. I've asked everybody else this, so just permit me a little leeway. What's your favorite OMG show? And also
Favorite OMG show?
Yeah.
Prelude to Divorce. Favorite non-OMG show? OMGW.
Oh, that's an OMG show.
Well, but see, it's
on my network.
It's you use a game to make it, but it's not based on a game.
I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That is very to me.
It's
OMGW
machinima.
is very machinima.
Yeah, it's my machinima. I've said that before. Yeah.
It blends into the channel very well.
Yeah.
Also, not directly game related.
No, I mean, I do it with a game, but you're right. It's not, there's nothing about it, the content itself, other than its medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I appreciate that. What's your favorite, what's your best OMG experience since you've been part of our community?
The first Halo night.
Okay. All right.
I think that was that one just was magical because it went off technically without a hitch, really,
Yeah.
other than my stupidity on downloading. And other than that, yeah, it worked, and we did everything, and yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I agree. I really like that first Halo night. Okay, all right, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I want to get a little bit more fun now for you. There's a developer out there. It's making a game, and that game is just for you as a player. What's that game look like?
It's...
I can hear the possibilities going on in your head right now.
Oh, no. It's something that I've had in my mind for a very, very, very long time.
All right.
And I don't even know who the developer would be, but I want Torchlight 2 quality of graphics on a side-scrolling Metroid game.
Holy crap.
I want glorious, luscious details. I don't need 3D models. I want beautiful artwork on a Super Metroid engine. You can even add some other features, but just super simplistic on the execution so that it is beautiful as you just engorge on a freaking 12-hour-long game.
You've made Neil very happy somewhere. I can tell you right there. I can tell you right there. Okay, so the next thing I want to ask you is a little bit more serious. So I want to ask you a time that gaming has like positively impacted you. So like maybe gaming helped you get through something, maybe gaming helped you connect with somebody you normally wouldn't connect with, maybe gaming just helped you meditate in certain situations. Just when is gaming has been or is a positive impact on you? Tough one.
No, it was
You keep taking a really long time to think about things, and then when I say tough one, you say no. I just want to point that out.
It's about 2004.
Okay.
And there was just some rough patches in life, and my friends rallied and brought consoles and games, and there wasn't a weekend for like a year straight that my apartment... Well, actually, there almost wasn't a day for a year straight that my apartment didn't have somebody stay in the night because they were over to play games or hang out or whatever. Because I'd gone through something super stressful and nobody wanted me to be sad about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that your personal gaming community came together for you, kind of.
Yeah.
That's a really special moment, special time, honestly. All right. So, so I like to end on this fun one. What's your always play and never play? Meaning, I'll always play this X game and I'll never play X game.
Well, that's actually kind of simple. I already mentioned it earlier. I will always play Super Metroid, and I will never play Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, I could hug you right now. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna throw shade. It's the most overrated game in the history of gaming, in my opinion. Just saying.
I've never played it. I grew tired of hearing about it via people like Hoffman. Love you, Hoffman. But you account for two things in life that you vehemently turned me off to. Ollie didn't help either on that aspect for Final Fantasy VII. But actually, you get three things. You get Trunks, you get the Matrix, and you get half fault for Final Fantasy VII.
I turned you off to those things, or Hoffman?
No, Hoffman.
Hoffman, yeah.
Hoffman turned me off to Trunks.
Oh, man.
He turned me off to because when The Matrix came out, he was like the first of all of us to see it.
Oh.
And he just wanted everything to always be like in The Matrix.
I remember the Matrix stuff. I just for everybody, Hoffman is another guy we grew up with. He's a friend of the channel, and he might very well listen to this. So Hoffman, all due respect to you, buddy, but man, you had a hard on for the Matrix. It was ridiculous.
But you know, we were teenagers. We were like 17 to 18 years old, and like it was like. I'll be honest, if I'd have watched it then, I'd have probably thought it was really that cool. I literally, because of how much I heard about it, I literally didn't watch The Matrix until like 2002.
I remember I went to see it opening, and I loved it. I was in love with it. And then Hoffman came around, and like just so that everybody knows the scope of Hoffman's obsession with The Matrix is I didn't watch that movie again until like my wife told me she had never watched it. So like that's how long, like 35. Wow. Like I mean like 10 years. Like I was like no,
you're even
never.
longer than me. Damn.
I've heard enough of it. I've seen enough of it. My buddy Mike has been too into this. I'm done with The Matrix. I remember that. He's crazy. He's crazy about that.
He was. But
all right. Well, Kev, man, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you helping out. And I do want to just say I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the love and support you've showed us. And, you know, there are days where we get low views, and there are days where I get kicked in the balls repeatedly by people who are not even members of our community. And I think about, man, I don't know if I can do this again today. And then I see a Kev comment, and I'm like, okay, all right, I can do one more video. And I really appreciate that from the bottom of my soul, man.
Well, hey, that's what we're for.
Is there anything you want to say to the people? Any comments you want to make? Anything you might want to plug? Anything you want to throw out there into the ether before I end the interview?
I'm going to plug the comments section. Guys, can I get some more comments from other people? It's getting lonely out here. We don't have to cuddle. We don't have to spoon. But, you know, at least occasionally say hello. Please.
I think I might
wave.
I'm not going to lie. I think I might name this episode We Don't Have to Cuddle.
There you go.
I think you just gave it to me, man. Kev Tutal, thank you so much, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. And thank you for all the comments and support, man.
You're welcome, Zach.
This guy is the original Old Man Fam member right here.
I am the content.
All right, Kev, thank you very much. And I don't know what order you're going to go in, so I will either be back with another interview or I will be back to end the show.
That's fine.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, and we're back. We're going to do the show. We're going to do the normal show now. We're going to get back into this. I did want to just read one final comment, and this is no offense to William Houen. It just didn't kind of fit what we were going for with the fan attractions. We're just going to read it now real quick because my boy commented. Will, thank you for commenting as usual. Hi with the exclamation point. Melissa, he always starts it with hi. With an exclamation point.
It's kind of him.
I love it. It's like one of my favorite things to see that hi with the exclamation point every time.
I always do that at work in emails because I'm trying to compensate for my lack of enthusiasm. And then I'm like, no, that's not professional. So then I go back and forth. I usually just put a dash after hello or hi, and then I do thanks exclamation at the end. That's
thank you.
Yeah.
So he says, hi. First of all, I'm so sorry to hear of your loss. There's no words that can be said that will change anything, but really, I am so sorry. And, well, seems my wishes of being well didn't really work out. That came with he wished me well to be well. What a bad week, huh? How do you call a day where Skyrim is re-released just a normal day? Thanks for the show, and as always, #boycott Halo. Did it. I got to do it in
We
person.
don't like Halo here.
No, we do not like Halo for very, very crappy reasons of what they've done. Well,
Isn't
some
it
people
like
do, because
Infinite
Neil's going to get it.
Road or Infinite War or whatever.
Halo
Isn't that a
Infinite.
Halo?
Oh, that our show is Halo Infinite Road. Yes, we're playing through every Halo leading up to the newest one that comes out.
So you're boycotting Halo from here on, not.
I'm not
previous.
gonna play. I'm only playing those because I've already agreed to do that show till its completion. My boycott Halo hashtag is I'm not going to buy the next Halo
Gotcha.
or any Halos from this point on because they're a shitty company that hates us.
Okay.
So that whole thing. And yeah, did you know Skyrim got re-released again?
You told me. I
Did
think
I?
it's ridiculous. I don't know how anybody finds that anything other than sleep-inducing, personally.
Did I tell you that they charge another $50
Yeah.
for it though? That's insane. That's crazy. And get this. Guess what I saw online today? They're making a board game out of it. Skyrim, the adventure game. And
Isn't that backwards?
It's like $100.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's not funded yet, but it's on. I think it's one of the Kickstarter board game Kickstarter things.
Wait, who's making this board game? I'm sorry. Like the Skyrim people
No,
that
what-
charge a
no.
bazillion dollars for their game.
I mean,
every
they'll
2
get part
years?
of it. They'll get part of it.
Well, yeah,
but-
for licensing, but they're
Yeah.
not the ones that
no,
are putting it out.
No,
Okay.
it's somebody else. Maybe.
I was gonna say, how dare they
Oh, how
put a
did
Kickstarter together
Right.
when they're charging $60 every 2 years for people to play this stupid ass game that y'all whatever. I know y'all probably like
I
it.
know. You
but
know
it's so
my wife's
ridiculous.
getting attitudey when she says y'all. Just
So
to let you guys
ridiculous.
in on a secret.
It's the worst game to watch anybody play.
It's awesome.
It's horrible.
It's one of the best games ever made.
Ugh.
This is not a debate for today.
It's
this
not
is not
a debate for
today.
today.
We got to
But
show it.
regardless, they are charging people out the ass for this game.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and now they're doing a Kickstarter
Oh no.
for a board game.
Thankfully, it's not that situation. Although I will say the Kickstarter, I looked through everything on it, and it is insanely materialistic. Like, there's
Really?
all these, like, DLC sets already built into the Kickstarter that, like, you're trying to get for stretch goals to, like, purchase. Like, it's
I wonder
crazy.
if they need so much money to start it because of the licensing.
It's possible. It's very possible, because
is-
licensing is very expensive.
What company is Skyrim?
Skyrim is Bethesda,
Is Bethesda?
which is owned by Xbox.
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking
What?
Blizzard.
What do you... Oh, no, it's not them. It's not them. They're not making games right now. All their games they've delayed because of everything going
CEO
on.
or whatever get
Oh, it's so
fired
bad.
or something?
It's so bad, hun. Actually, right, it's Bobby Kotick, and no, he has not been fired, and that's part of the problem.
Oh.
Because it just came out that he knew about the sexual abuse.
Well, of course you know.
Yes.
If you never read the indictment.
No, I didn't read the indictment.
Well, I sent it to you.
You did send it
I
to me.
read the indictment. Well,
We should do
I
the
watched a
show on this because
podcast
you're all
where I
lawyery.
read the indictment. Like, she goes through the indictment line by line. Like, there's no way that man didn't know.
No.
I'm kind of amazed because that was filed. I mean, that's been a few months now. I'm kind of amazed that they're just coming out with the fact that he knew.
Yeah, we found out that he knew through some emails, and then the board of directors backed him. And we're like, we're not going to fire him. So now everybody's distancing themselves. Even Xbox, Phil Spencer, has said that he's reevaluating his relationship with Activision Blizzard, which is kind of a big deal. So, but we're not going to get into that today. We're going to be a little bit more fun because...
I certainly hope that they look into other relationships that they have as well.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a big problem I have.
Let's not
Yeah.
deal with this on the back end after
Yeah.
people have literally lost their lives, and separate from that, their careers
Yeah.
and their
Yeah.
futures, and families have lost loved ones and things like that. They need to not wait until after all the shit's hit the fan, and let's start being proactive and look into these other relationships.
Yeah, I think that like one thing that I said because I was talking to Neil about it, not on the podcast, just when we were going back and forth, and I was like, one thing that bothers me is I feel like Activision and Blizzard is getting all this blame for all this shit while you have all these terrible game companies still doing terrible
Right.
things that nobody's looking at. It's like, okay guys, Blizzard Activision is not the first. It's
Right.
not the first
And
rodeo.
it's not the last.
They're just
Sure.
the first ones to get like really screwed by
Yeah.
it. So
But aside from that, Bethesda, so sorry, that was my fault for a tangent.
definitely down a hole. now.
Bethesda with Skyrim
Just looking at this timer.
With Skyrim.
We've already lost 10 minutes.
I know. Now I lost my train of thought with that. But Skyrim should. They should. I'm hopeful that they're not charging through the nose for licensing, and that's what's causing so much need for a kickstart.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past them. The re-release of the Anniversary Collection as a $50 game, everything in that you can play for free on the original Skyrim.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. So, like, it's a very tricky situation. But we're trying to stay positive today. Well, we're not. I mean, without Neil here, it's not going to be positive. I'm going to be a very crank. Like, it's just not. He's always the positive one, and I'm the one who's like, fuck everything. So, we're talking about the Game Awards.
You are very negative.
I'm very negative.
I've listened to a couple of your recent podcasts, and you are like a Scrooge.
I am real Scroogey.
You're very curmudgeonly.
I used to, like, it's funny, too, because I've made jokes about it. I'm like, if you watch this, if you listen to this podcast from the beginning, when it started, like, it's like, it was like me and Logan, and I was like, yay, video games! And then now it's like, I hate everything, I don't even want to do this podcast anymore. Like, it's just so it's like the slow decline of somebody's, like, excitement about doing something.
Yeah, I get
like,
it.
the deeper I get into gaming, the more I get
to, like,
angry.
Find your joy.
Yeah.
Like, we need Marie Kondo up in this bitch. Isn't that her name? The Find Joy lady?
I don't. If you're asking me who the Find a Joy lady is, no, I do not know who
I
the
think
Find
that's
a
who
Joy
it
lady
is.
Wrestling right now is my joy, honestly.
Yeah.
But I could bitch about that, so.
And you do.
I think it's just age. I think I'm just getting old, so I'm just cranky about everything now. But anyway, the Game Award nominees came out, and whereas me and Neil, in the honor of Neil, I've gotta call it what Neil always calls it, which is Keeley's Fuckfest.
Who's Keeley?
Jeff Keeley is the guy who started the Game Awards. He's always the host of it, and then he somehow weasels his way into, like, every game conference, and you're like, what do you do here, man? He's like a dude who is literally, like, has made his entire career on just saying his own name. Like, hi, I'm Jeff Keeley, and it's like, oh, he just made money off that. Like,
I will say, when you asked me to do this, I did look up the Game Award nominees, and going through the list, and this is like a quick cursory 10-minute, like, kind of overwhelming because there were so many of them.
Yeah, there is.
The first list that I looked up didn't have them, like, separated out by any category. It was just like a list of games.
That's
I'm like,
not good.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel like there aren't that many games that aren't an iteration of something that I've heard about for years before.
Right.
Like, do they not make new video games?
No, they don't, actually. That's a big problem that we've been talking about, is new IPs get, like, snuffed while you get, like, the 6th entry into Halo.
Right.
And it's like,
ridiculous.
okay. The other thing that we don't like about the Game Awards is it's slowly becoming more and more about, like, the trailers and not about the... which we're going to talk about a little bit today, because I was going to talk about that with Neil. And I do want to say right off the bat, it's one of my biggest problems, is, like, you know that you're in trouble right off the bat when you have an award that is dedicated to the game to games that haven't come out that have the most hype.
They have games nominated that aren't out.
They have a game award called the Most Anticipated Game of 2021. The nominees are games that are not nominated, that are not out yet, that people are most excited about. You know you're in trouble when, as a game industry, when you're literally giving awards out to people for overhyping their game.
How are you determining the population excitement? I mean, unless they're going on, like, pre-sales, which, you know my thoughts on pre-sales.
The way they
it's
do
all bullshit. But
the way they do the awards is, like, it's supposedly like they poll critics, then they poll people online, and then they have a way of just anybody. You can just go on a vote.
Oh, you actually know where you can. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a legitimate thing. It's not like it's not like Family Feud where they're like, we polled 1,000 people. I don't know anybody who has ever gotten a random phone call or stopped on the street that says, like, I can't even think of a Family Feud question.
I think they
make that up.
They poll the audience members, hon. That's how they do that. Didn't you know that?
No, I thought, is that really on the
Yeah, they get about 100 people in every time, and when the people come in, they give them a card and they go fill this out, and then you just this, and this. You hand it back to them, and then they use that for the next coming shows.
Really?
Yeah, they just poll the audience members.
Huh. It's
What?
a
You never
whole new
thought
world.
of you?
No. Like,
You're
I'm
so
like,
smart. I thought
why
you
have I
I
never gotten this
Yeah,
cold
just call
call
the audience
asking
members.
me
It's a cold call.
like
they have
what
like a team.
my favorite, like what a man's favorite
Like
sex
Steve-
position is, or something stupid.
Like Steve Harvey has a team of phone callers that just.
I just always thought, or I thought it was like,
That's
like
great.
remember when we went to Chicago and there was just like all sorts of random shit going on downtown?
Yeah.
Like somebody just stops people in the middle of the
No,
street in some
no.
big city and
They just
ma'am,
pull the
I'd like to
audience
ask you a
members.
quick question.
They
Like
just poll the audience members.
I never
With
thought
this,
about that.
you
It's like
can-
a whole new world. to
With
soak
this,
up for
you
me.
can vote online, and then
Okay.
the critics have a bigger share of the votes. It's kind of like Dancing with Stars. You remember Dancing with Stars? How that worked?
Yeah.
Like you had the judges' scores,
Yeah.
and then it was versus the votes in line,
popular votes.
and the judges had more shares of vote. That's kind of how it works. So you have the critics' votes are a little bit more important, and then you have just a wide
For
mass of
most
people.
anticipated game, the critics shouldn't even be considered in that.
I mean, I'm not saying necessarily you're wrong. I think the award in itself, though, is the problem. I think the fact that you're giving out an award for a game that has not released, like literally, it's like rewarding the best pyramid scheme that year in gaming. It's insane. To me.
I don't know. I don't feel that there's that big of a problem with a most anticipated. What I think they should follow up then. with
Okay,
the
you're
next
fired
year,
from the show. I don't know why I picked you.
No, but
You're supposed to be
But
great.
wouldn't it be funny, like, the next year if they had, and last year's most anticipated, who didn't live up to the hype?
Didn't at all. Didn't at all. I think Cyberpunk won that the last 3 years, and then it was like, ugh.
Oh, they certainly shouldn't be able to, like, be in it multiple years. Like,
No.
if you were most anticipated 6 years ago and your shit's still not out, F off. Like, yeah, I don't think
It's-
that there's a big problem with having a most anticipated.
I think there is.
I don't think that critics should be weighed more in favor, like they're, they should weigh more their
Excuse me.
votes. Like, anticipated, it should just be the public, the general
Yeah,
public.
but
who's
what have
gonna
you
buy
done?
that
Who is
game.
it? Like, you shouldn't be giving out an award for that. It's an award for the biggest liar. Like, unless your stuff comes out being the way it is, it rewards bullshit is what it does. The other award.
But still, I think you're rewarding marketing.
Okay, we can't spend all night on this.
But you're rewarding marketing. You can say
shouldn't.
your part and I can't debate it?
You've said many parts. Many parts.
They're rewarding marketing. And I feel that that's something that's fair to be rewarded on once.
Okay.
And I do
No.
also think they should call out the next year, like, and whoever won this last year, yeah, we haven't seen their game, so they suck. That should be the end of it.
The other award, just in general, that bothered me this year was they're giving out an award for the best esports event. Not like they're giving out esports awards, and I'm okay with esports awards. I'm not into esports, but I get it. You got to recognize them, like best esports athlete, best esports team, best esports coach. I'm down with all of that. But they're giving out an award to the best esports event, like the tournament itself. And I think that is ridiculous in itself, too. Like, we're giving that to, like, a building? Like, that. I don't understand the point of that award, either. Those are the two awards I really had a big problem
I know
with.
there's a lot of stuff with esports that I don't know a lot about. Like that, I think I had sent you that thing and I don't remember
Oh, yeah.
the name of it.
Was it Phase?
Phase something or other.
Yeah.
But, like, that's a whole esport, like, league.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
something that's kind of foreign to me. I heard somebody on a podcast say that their kid's school has, like, an esport team, like, same as...
Yeah, but...
it's
which
just
is
something
fine.
that I can't really
Okay, so
wrap
let
my head around.
me try and do an analogy for you. This would be like giving an award between, like, the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals. Like, that's what it would be like giving an award
giving
out.
an award to Comic-Con in San Francisco and Comic-Con in New York
That's a
City?
good analogy.
and
That's a good analogy,
I
too.
think it's weird, but I
It's
guess
super
I can
weird.
kind of see it.
I don't know if I can get back there. Well, let's get into the awards themselves.
Okay.
Let's start with the big one, just so that if we run low on time, we can just stop. But right off the bat, Game of the Year. Top 6 games this year. Those games were Deathloop by Arcane Studios Bethesda, It Takes Two by Hazelight Studios EA, which you actually have some experience with, Metroid Dread from Mercury Steam / Nintendo, Psychonauts 2 from Double Fine / Xbox Game Studios, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart from Insomniac Games and SIE, and then Resident Evil Village, or I believe it's Resident Evil 7. So,
By Capcom.
By Capcom. So those are the nominees. I'm not actually that upset with this category. I think that first of all, I love seeing It Takes Two in there. I think It Takes Two was a great narrative, and
I'm actually kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Because when I had gone through the list, there was a lot of games that, like, I don't know, I think there's an Assassin's Creed game that's like the 72nd.
Yeah,
or however many.
yeah.
Of these games, other than It Takes Two, because we've played it, and then Resident Evil sounds familiar, and you just said it's 7.
Mm-hmm.
None of those are, like, an incarnation of, well, Psychonauts 2, obviously.
Psychonauts 2.
2.
But Psychonauts 2 and Metroid Dread is actually Metroid 5.
Oh, okay.
So Metroid Dread is
mind.
yeah, but in fairness, you're kind of still right, because Metroid has not had a Metroid game in about 10 years.
Right.
So even though there was like a fourth and tons of other games, Nintendo has avoided making a Metroid game for like 10 years. So it's almost like a new one.
It's not like Skyrim, the same game we issued 10 years ago.
We need it. We can't go back to Skyrim. We can't. You cannot keep dragging us down the Skyrim road. Like, I know you like to insult Skyrim. We can't just keep going back to that. Psychonauts 2 is another one that Double Fine made it for a different company a long time ago. Never had the money to make a sequel, and didn't get to make it until just recently. And it's another one that's like a sequel to a game that's like 10 years old.
Okay.
And then Resident Evil Village is probably the one that fits most into the franchise player thing. Ratchet & Clank, though, is also a franchise. I think that's like the 4th or 5th game in that series. However, again, it's kind of its own. It's like a jumping off thing.
Like a cartoon on like.
There was a movie of it, but it actually started as a video game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but Ratchet & Clank did some really interesting stuff with the SSD. I would actually postulate, arguably, that Ratchet & Clank is probably the only next-gen game that actually leverages the next-gen technology that they put into the systems, which is kind of a bummer. But
why is that a bummer?
Because you want your launch games to leverage your technology. Well, one of the
because more of them don't.
Yeah.
I see.
Like, and Ratchet & Clank is a mascot game. It's like a Sonic the Hedgehog type thing. So, like,
I thought you were disappointed that it did that, not that the other ones didn't.
No. Well, it's also a PlayStation exclusive, which I hate exclusives. But it is a bummer that, like, these games aren't leveraging this SSD technology, but Ratchet & Clank very clearly leverages the SSD technology very, very heavily, which is nice, and I think that kind of gives it an edge above the other ones. It Takes Two has a really strong, awesome narrative. I like seeing It Takes Two there because it's actually an independent studio. Hazelight is a smaller studio led by Jose Ferris, who's a little bit of a lunatic, but still he makes some very interesting co-op games. Deathloop is a AAA title. It's Arcane Studios and Bethesda, but they're lovers and crafters of the thing. It is a very interesting. Do you know what Deathloop is?
No.
So Deathloop is a game where, like, you wake up as a hit. You know you're a hitman, but you have amnesia. You're on an island where time repeats every day. Like, every day, it's like a loop, right? And then, as a hitman, you have to find a way to kill all the people, all the leaders on the island in one day to break the cycle of the time loop.
So it's Groundhog Day and what's the one where the guy tattooed on himself?
Memento.
Kinda. Like Groundhog Day and Memento, like, together.
There are some interesting prospects here. One of the interesting prospects is there's this drop-in, drop-out multiplayer where somebody else can... There is another hit woman who just lives on the island and is just there to kill you.
And the game, the most dangerous game, where they hunt people.
It's
This is
surviving
like
the game. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
feels like several movies
It
mashed
is.
together.
It is.
Interesting.
There is some interesting subject matter here. One of the things that's cool is all the people who live on the island, all the criminals who live on the island, live there to live in the loop because they know that they'll die. They'll just come back, so they can just live hedonistic lifestyles there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a cool thought process.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely sounds interesting.
It is an interesting game. It's a very interesting narrative. Metroid Dread, side-scrolling, classic Metroid-style game. And the fifth of the series, they brought back the side-scrolling platformer that Metroid was, but you had to kind of go to the different areas, collect the different things, get to different areas. And it's good. I played the demo. I actually said it was pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't hate it. Okay. We talked a little bit. Psychonauts. Psychonauts is a mascot type game, but it almost has like a Tim Burton art style to it, and it is about a group of people that that stop criminals by going into their subconscious and then psychologically fixing them. And it's like, so you'll go into somebody's subconscious, and then there'll be like platforms, but you have to like figure out why they are psychotic or why they have multiple personalities or what happened to them.
Jennifer Lopez movie, The Cell.
Was it? I mean, I don't know. I never saw that one. I never saw that one. It was too scary. I don't like scary movies.
Oh, The Cell. That wasn't a scary movie.
I don't believe you.
That's not
at
scary.
all. I saw the preview. I was like, nope, not for me.
No, that wasn't scary. I've seen it several times.
Speaking of scary, Resident Evil Village is a horror game, straight up zombie horror game, first person kind of shooter survival sort of game. That's got the big vampire woman who everybody was ridiculously attracted to for some crazy reason. So those are Game of the Year nominees.
Yeah.
And our kids in the room.
What's wrong?
What's up, kid?
I just want a clubhouse for outside. That's really big.
Did you go outside?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I want a clubhouse for outside.
Okay. All right. I can't build a clubhouse for you right now.
No, we gotta get one for Christmas.
Okay, go watch your thing. I'm not going to answer that. Going into best game direction, Deathloop, It Takes Two, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We saw all those before. I think those are all really good nominations. I do want to talk about Returnal. I think it should not be nominated in best game direction. Returnal is a roguelite where basically every time you die, you start at the beginning, and then you have to get farther, and then you start at the beginning. But the direction of the game... Well, and some of these games are very rewarding.
How do you ever finish that game?
Well, the idea behind a lot of them is slowly you get better at knowing what's happening so that you can get further, or you advance your character so that you can get further. So it's kind of like you get a little bit further and then a little bit further. Hades was a game that I played a lot on the Switch. That was a roguelite. It was very much like that. But you would make advancement. Returnal, there's no advancing. So, like, there is now, but there wasn't before. So you would have this, like...
I mean, like, checkpoints.
Yeah, well, not checkpoints, like making yourself better to deal with the thing in front of you. I thought Returnal as best game direction is a terrible choice. That game should not be on there at all, personally. We do have to talk about a couple of snubs for Game of the Year. Going back a little bit, can you go over to the couch, kiddo?
I just
Okay.
that clubhouse.
Go to the... Forza 5. Not my favorite game, Forza Horizon 5. I actually reviewed it kind of poorly, but a lot of people said it was snubbed. It was a 10 out of 10 through IGN. And
yeah, I remember you saying you didn't like it, but it was rated very highly.
Yes.
You would think that
yeah,
if they give so much clout to critics,
Yeah.
you would certainly think that one would have done.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised to not see it, and it's really only in sports and racing, which
When
was
I
kind
didn't
of
see
ridiculous.
you play that one, but when
No.
you were playing Forza 4, like back before we even moved.
That was 3, I think.
Okay, but if for direction, like we're talking director, like a director of a movie, right?
Right.
That movie, or I'm sorry, that game, that game was beautiful. Like, I don't know anything, obviously can't speak to the gameplay
Right.
itself, but for appearance-wise, that game was awesome.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
that the fifth one is not.
No, it's very
same
pretty.
As or
It's still
better.
very pretty. The problems I had with it was not the craftsmanship going into the making of the game. It's still very pretty, very lighting, well lit. The customization of the cars, all very realistic.
So I could see that being a snub for a direction,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
Again, not having seen
Right.
this game at all, but still.
Right. Okay, so we're going to go into best ongoing. You're not going to really know a bunch
You would
about
think
this. I'm
that
just
that
going to
would
read this
be on
off.
there as well.
What?
An ongoing.
What?
Forza.
No, because Forza isn't a games of service.
Oh,
Forza has a
ongoing.
new
Okay,
iteration.
I see.
Ongoing is like a game. Basically, ongoing is their only category, which is like this is a game that's just constantly there, constantly updating.
I gotcha.
itself.
I gotcha.
Like Apex Legends has been around for 2 years. Call of Duty Warzone, same. Final Fantasy 14 Online, Fortnite, which has been around
Yeah.
forever. That's actually won that award like more than once, I think.
Really?
And Genshin Impact. Personally, everybody, I think Genshin Impact's going to take it. Just saying. Side note, obviously you don't know about these
Yeah.
ones, but they're very, very good nominations. I don't think Fortnite should be on this time. I think there are some other ongoings that we could have put in here, and I think Fortnite has really dropped off. So I'm not quite. I think Fortnite being put on here is a little bit of a like platitude, like.
Performative.
Yeah, I think it's kind of BS. Now we go into Best Indie and Best Debut Indie, which is two that I really want to talk about because the thing that 100% should be on here was snubbed, and I'm a little bit pissed about it. So we're going to talk about it. What we're going to talk about. Best Indie, 12 Minutes, which should not be on here. That game is not as good as people think it is. Death's Door, Kenya, Bridge of Spirits, Inscription, Loop Hero. Then Best Debut Indie, Kenya, Bridge of Spirits, Sable, The Artful Escape, Forgotten City, Valheim. Where is Wildermyth? Come on, guys. 9 out of 10. That game's amazing. It absolutely deserves to be on one of these two lists. And personally, it's my game of the year right now. So I don't know why they snubbed it, and I'm a little bit pissed about
That's an indie game, Wilderman?
Oh yeah. Wildermyth's a big time indie game. Same with these are all indie games, meaning they're not developed by like a AAA studio. They're either AA or lower. But it's just very, very frustrating to me that Wildermyth didn't make it anywhere on here, especially since it is critically acclaimed. It's like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 everywhere you look for review. So I was really bummed about that because that's my game this year. I loved that game this year. I've done multiple shows out of that game, even though people didn't even watch them. I loved that game. So that was a little bit of a bummer.
I have nothing to
You
contribute.
don't
Sorry.
have to contribute. You don't have to contribute everything. Just having somebody else here helps. Best narrative, we had Deathloop again. It Takes Two is back in there. Life is Strange: True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Psychonauts 2. Interesting to see Guardians of the Galaxy on here, but I get it. I hope it doesn't win. I think that'll be a little bit of a placation. It was a good game, but it's not. I don't know. I think It Takes Two or Deathloop or Psychonauts 2 definitely have a stronger, more emotionally impacted narrative, while Guardians of the Galaxy is just kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, the game.
Is that the first Guardians game that they've done?
Yes, the first direct Guardians game. Guardians have been in other games, but it's actually a very interesting game. You play Star-Lord in it.
Okay.
Only. You can't play any of the other people. It's a third person, but the other people are always with you, and you can give them commands. So it's all about strategically knowing when to like tell Drax to attack somebody and have Groot come in. And then one of the coolest things is they got a bunch of 80s and 70s music to put in the soundtrack, but even more so is you could do this special ability called the Huddle Up. So you'll be in a battle and you'll be like, Huddle Up! And like all the people come in and you have to choose like how to like give a ridiculous speech to them all. And then once the speech is done, you pick a song, and then that song gives you all buffs, and it'll be like, Take On Me, or some shit like that. So it's really cool. I think it should be in for best soundtrack, personally. I don't know if narrative is where you should go with that. It's a fun, cool game, but I don't know if it should be elevated to that level, you know?
Interesting.
Now we get into some more of the, like, kind of we don't care about these that much. But I'm gonna kind of go through these fast, just so that everybody has them. Best Art Direction: Deathloop, Kenya Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and The Artful Escape. Artful Escape should win that. Best Score and Music:
Does it say Beethoven and Dinosaur Annapurna?
Yeah, Annapurna is the publisher. Beethoven and Dinosaur is the developer.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how all of these are listed.
Okay.
I want to say this right now. Guys, the fact that Cyberpunk 2077 is nominated anywhere is a travesty. I don't care if it's good at this point. You don't put that on a list anywhere. I don't care about score and music. That game was a shit show. Everybody is pissed at it. You don't put that on the list.
It's not fair.
Oh, you don't put it on the list.
It's not the people who did the music and the score's fault that the game was such a turd. I mean,
yeah, but
those people deserve to be recognized, and not that the company is actually going to recognize them, because I'm sure they're a shit show too. But no, I think these are the people's names. Marcin.
Yeah. This is the only one with the name because it's the composer.
Yeah, so why can't? I'm not even gonna try and say their names.
You sure want to take a shout out?
Marcin and Poiter. That's a Russian name.
Peter.
I had a client whose name was that, and it was like Poiter, but they were Russian. It was spelled like that, though.
Well, they are. They're very...
Well, why shouldn't they get their...
All right. I'd give it to you for best score in music. I think it's nominated somewhere else, which is going to be
I'm not going to argue with that. But for score and music,
I'll back down on this.
They're not the reason why the game sucks.
I'm not going to sleep on the couch over this comment. You got me. You got me on that one. I'll let it go.
Good.
I'll let it go.
Good.
Damn
right you will.
Okay, let's take it down a notch. It says Cyberpunk 2077 Deathloop Near Replicant version 1.224744871139. Come on, Japanese people with your names of games. We definitely picked that up on my...
I'm sorry.
Co-opting your child to get you stuff.
No, a water from upstairs, baby.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think personally should kind of win, and then Artful Escape, which could also win. It's a rhythm-based game, a lot of music in it, so I think it should definitely be Guardians or Artful on that one. Best audio design, Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5. That's where it comes in. Audio design. That's a little rough.
Maybe with do you hear the car's engine?
It's
stuff. Is that like a thing?
I don't understand that because it's mostly licensed music on the radio, and then that's it. I mean, it's great sound effects when it comes to music and stuff.
Maybe that's what they're.
I don't know why they're I would much rather see Forza in
a good game of the year or something.
And I didn't even like Forza Horizon 5,
right.
But I mean, the world seems to like it. It's the highest selling Xbox game, I think, ever. So,
wow.
I don't understand why it's not up there. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, and Returnal. Then we have Best Performance. Erica Mori as Alex Chen in Life is Strange True Colors. Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo, Far Cry 6. I'm going to have some words about that. Jason E. Kelly as Colt Vaughn, Deathloop. Maggie Robinson as Lady Dimitrescu, Resident Evil Village. That's the big, tall, step-on-me vampire. Ozuyama Akagaha as Julian Blake, Deathloop. Okay, so I do want to say right off the bat, if I pronounced any of those names wrong, I'm sorry, which I definitely did. But Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo should not be on there. Look, guys, I like Giancarlo. I really do. He's great. But his presentation of Anton Castillo is just the chicken guy, but he's the dictator of a fucking nation. We shouldn't be...
It's the same character from Breaking Bad?
I mean, it's not, but it's...
What you're saying?
Yeah, it felt... It's
he
him.
plays it.
It's him being him as a bad guy.
Which is funny, because I've seen him in other things from prior to Breaking Bad.
Right.
And he is not...
Mm-hmm.
But ever since Breaking Bad, it's like he's typecast into being Gus Fring.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Everything he does since Breaking Bad, he's Gus Fring. But prior to that, he was just a normal actor.
Well, and I haven't told you about the shitty emails about that game. Me.
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that off. We don't have enough time to talk about that on. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think he should be on here. I feel like it was just because, oh, wow, he's so popular that we got to put him on there. So I think there are other people who did better performances that should be on here. Either of the parents from Life is Strange.
Life is Strange.
Not Life is Strange. It Takes Two.
No, that mom was terrible.
Mom's good.
She's terrible.
The guy's great.
The guy's good. The monster.
And the book. Whoever's playing the book is awesome.
Yeah.
The other thing, the operators from Back 4 Blood are amazing. Hoffman's great. Mom's great. Doc's great. Like, there's so many better performances that could have been in there, but I think we put it up there because we had an Emmy-nominated actor doing a performance.
Right.
And and you know he's not even going to show up to the show if he wins. So, like... I mean, he's not. Real celebrities
He's got more
barely
things
ever
to
do.
better things to do this time.
Yeah. All right, so we got to start wrapping this up, but we'll do Game for Impact. Before Your Eyes, Boyfriend Dungeon, Chicory, Life is Strange True Colors, No Longer Home. I'm not going to comment on these. They're all great, impactful games, and any one of them deserves to win, in my opinion.
What do they mean, impact?
I know that.
So it's like social impact. So it'll be like a game about like racism, or like a game about like sexism, or something like that.
Okay.
Like something that brings that is very emotional.
Like a social issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, kid is destroying the basement down here. Best community support: Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. That's basically an award for supporting your community. I think No Man's Sky should win that because I love No Man's Sky, and they should win any award they get nominated for. At this point, best comeback story in gaming still. I'm not going to do best mobile game. Who cares? It's a mobile game. Seriously, guys, it's a mobile game.
Don't alienate your people.
Am I going to alienate my people? Okay, all right, we'll read them. Fantasian, Genshin Impact, that should win. League of Legends, Wild Rift, Marvel Future Revolution, and Pokemon Unite, which is probably going to win. Best VR game, Hitman 3, I Expect You to Die 2, Lone Echo 2, Resident Evil 4, Sniper Elite VR. Can't really comment on that, don't have a VR. Best action game, why is this so low down here? Back 4 Blood, should win. Chivalry 2, Deathloop, Far Cry 6 shouldn't even be on there, and Returnal also shouldn't be on there. Best action adventure, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. I do not understand why there's an action adventure and then an action. I feel like you guys need to pick a lane there. It's just a way to nominate more games somehow.
Yeah.
And we have best role-playing. This is the one that pisses me off. Look at that first one.
Cyberpunk.
Can I be pissed about that one?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I want my refund. I still want my refund.
It's basically saying that's the best game
role-playing
in that genre.
Yep.
So
yeah. Bullshit. Should not be on there. Monster Hunter Rise. Also, I didn't feel like that should be on there. But I understand a lot of people liked it. There's a couple of snubs in this category I want to talk about real quick. Scarlet Nexus was on there, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise was very popular, so was Scarlet Nexus. I didn't play either one of them. I cannot answer your question about a cartoon. Go watch it. But two games that need to be on there that should not be on there, Wildermyth, I'm going to say that every time. But Monster Hunter Stories 2 was a much more superior and more of an RPG than Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise was much more of an action, like kill the monster, make the thing go out and kill the monster. Whereas Monster Hunter Stories had the turn-based and everything and the leveling up.
Did it come out last year?
Nope. They were both out. They were both out this year. So I feel like Monster Hunter Stories 2 should have been on there and isn't. A little upset about that. Best fighting game, Demon Slayer, Guilty Gear Strive, Melty Blood, Type Lumina, don't know that one. Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, kind of surprised that's on there. Virtual Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. I'm not huge into fighting games, but I would say Guilty Gear Strive if I had to pick one. Keeping going, Best Family, It Takes Two is back on there. Although I think Family is really running a line on It Takes Two because there's some heavy issues in that I don't know that I'd want to play with my daughter.
When you told Stella you would play that with her,
I skipped all the story. I skipped all the stories.
I don't know how I feel about that. So, which, I mean, she's 5. It's easy to skip over. Just, whatever. But, yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I guess the story behind it is a family dynamic, and maybe that's why they put it in there. But as far as, like, playing with the family, it's also only a 2-person game.
Yeah, right. It's a very weird section to be in. Mario Party Superstars should be on there. That's the re-release of a bunch of old Mario Party games. kind of together. They took the greatest hits of the old ones, put them all into one Mario Party game, and universalized the rules. New Pokemon Snap, that's one I would pick. That's the one I kind of want to get, Stella, where you take pictures of the Pokemon. Super Mario World 3D plus Bowser's Fury, I don't think that should be on there. And WarioWare Get It Together, that should. That's a good multiplayer, fun, fast game. Another one that Stella has asked for repeatedly.
4 of the 5 are all Nintendo games.
Yeah. Nintendo's family, man. Mm-hmm. They've got a lane and they stick to it. Best Sports Racing, F1 2021. I don't know why I'm reading anybody in here. Forza 5 is going to win that one. They're going to give it to him to placate him. They just do.
Unleashed.
It actually turned out to be a really good game. Yeah, it was surprising. Riders Republic is a great game, too. I actually played the beta on that. That's the kind of extreme rules, open world sort of thing. Best Sim Strategy, Age of Empires 4, Evil Genius 2, World Domination, Humankind, Inscription, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, I cannot say how pissed I am about this. They did this last year, Sim/Strategy, and then they jam Flight Simulator in that. That's bullshit. Put it somewhere else. Make a different category. It's just to give Flight Simulator the award. It's so annoying. They did it last year. They gave Simulator award. There is no way that these 4 strategy games should be in the same thing as flying a plane.
What I don't understand is Microsoft Flight Simulator is not a new game.
No, it's not. I don't understand why it's on there either, because it came out last year.
Yeah, well, I mean...
I don't get it.
Aren't award shows, like, for games that premiered? Yeah. So, like, if it's a new iteration of... But then it shouldn't be in this category. Right. It should be in that one where it was, like... Where there was all the ones that they had online DLCs and shit.
Yeah.
It should be in there. It shouldn't be in a category... This category should be... newly released games in 2021 that fit that category.
Right.
I agree.
It's garbage.
I don't know much about any of those games, but...
Then we go to Best Multiplayer. Back 4 Blood should win. It Takes Two, also good contender, I think. Knockout City, that's a great one. That's the kind of futuristic, weird dodgeball game. Monster Hunter Rise is on there again. New World, I think, might be the dark horse there because of how popular that got. And then Valheim, which I didn't even realize that was a multiplayer, just so you guys know. Still a solid category. Most anticipated. There's the one that I hate. None of those games are out. And what's even worse, and this is why you're wrong and I'm right on this one, they don't even have a title for this game. It's sequel to Legend of the Zelda Breath of the Wild. Ridiculous. If you can't have a title to the game, the category shouldn't exist.
I think it should be most anticipated games that are truly slated to come out in the next year. And it's a marketing award. I think it's fair. I think they're not doing it. But no game
is truly slated ever to come out until it actually comes out.
Well, and then if it doesn't come out, you shouldn't be able to be on that list more than once. Who are you calling?
I'm calling Aunt Jacqueline.
Why?
Okay, well, talk to her then, because I see
Aubrey's...
So how are you doing? I definitely got one new one.
Oh my God, I gotta finish this. I do want to talk about innovation and accessibility. This is a really cool one. Far Cry 6, Forza 5, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, The Veil, Shadow of the Crown. Basically, innovation and accessibility means some sort of option that allows people to play who wouldn't normally be able to play video games, like a colorblindness mode, arachnophobia modes, stuff like that. Forza 5 actually added an American Sign Language mode, where they actually have a person who does all the sign language for all the game in the side of the screen so you can see what it is.
Can you just turn on captions and read it?
Yeah, you can, I would guess.
I feel like that's like a grab for an award of some sort.
It's possible. But still, they have a lot of
that's cool there. At first thought. And then I'm like, wait a minute. If you need sign language, you can still read.
That is weird. I don't know why they do that. Maybe I'm sure they'd have a reason for it though. And then we get into content creator and esports, which we're gonna skip because we don't know that very well. So, all right. So, any final thoughts on the nominations that you want to add in before we switch over to odds and ends, real quick?
No, I don't. I mean,
okay.
I don't know.
You got to scoot in and talk.
I don't know enough about games. I apologize.
No. You've done good. You've done good.
Not my bag.
You've been a good counterpoint. All right. So we will be right back with odds and ends, and then we'll wrap the show.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to odds and ends, a segment where we like to collect smaller news stories that don't necessarily deserve a full talking point. Just riff on them right here. Now, listen, guys. Melissa, as you guys well know, is not a huge gamer. She doesn't follow the world of gaming very closely. I really appreciate you being here, and I really appreciate you doing the work to research this in the literal 3 hours you had before coming on. That being said, we only have 2 odds and ends because they're both mine. So I'm gonna do them. You can add in any comments that you want. I don't know that you'll have a ton of them, but number 1, Halo. So one of the things that we've had a problem with Halo with is they keep cutting it up into pieces and none of it's releasing at the same time.
Okay.
Like the multiplayer is already out now. They released the multiplayer like 4 days ago. The campaign doesn't come out until mid-December. They've cut the co-op and Forge versions. The co-op and Forge features.
Okay.
Forge being like a level creator for multiplayer, co-op being split screen co-op on the same screen.
Okay.
And I don't even think you have co-op multiplayer. You have to play it solo or multiplayer, which is a versus.
That's annoying.
It's very annoying. So that being said, we are getting co-op and Forge even later now. So they have extended Season 1 all the way out to, I think, like May or March of next year for their Battle Pass, which means that Forge and co-op will not be coming before then. So it will be an even bigger delay. This is why I'm boycotting Halo, just so you know.
I just do want to point out, though, that a boycott means a boycott. Like,
I am boycotting.
You're not boycotting them. You're still playing their games, even if it's old games.
I'm boycotting Halo Infinite. Not playing Halo Infinite. I'm not going to purchase it, and I'm not going to. And once I'm done with that show, I am done with Halo. I will not play Halo anymore.
Halo's the ones with like the black and or the blue and the red, like robot looking.
Oh
guys.
yeah, red versus blue.
Yeah,
which I did. I am a red versus blue fan, or I used to be.
That was Halo.
Default.
Right?
That was Halo.
Okay.
The baseline for that was Halo. Yes. All right. So the other one, this is super exciting because I don't think I've ever seen this, and I've never seen a game actually actually make their release date sooner. Not delay, but actually speed up the release date. So Sifu. It is unfortunately a PlayStation exclusive, but it is coming to PC.
You get so excited. Let's wait and see Let's wait and see.
I'm super excited
Let's
for this
wait
game.
and see, 1, if it actually comes out when they say it's going to come out.
I'm super excited for this game.
And 2, if it comes out and it's not a glitchy clusterfuck.
I want to say right now, if you're going to... Because they delayed it once. They delayed it to February 22nd. Now they have moved it up to February 8th in their last trailer. I've got to say, though, as a company, you cannot move it up and then move it back. Especially since it's an independent company.
They can do whatever they want because
no, they can as an independent.
Continue to spend $60 a game.
They're not going to spend it on an independent game that's a new IP if they do this. In this particular, like Starfield from Bethesda can pull that shit off. Sifu can't.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm excited.
I think you should reserve your excitement.
I'm not going to reserve
or temper your excitement.
It's a great game.
Most
anticipated.
How do you know?
I'm just being combative now.
From your own words, most anticipated is bullshit.
I'm just being combative now.
It's just marketing.
I'm literally just fighting to fight with you.
I think I'm excited that you are so excited about something.
It looks good. It looks really good.
And I hope that it lives up to the hype.
I am excited that a game company actually...
You were really excited about Cyberpunk.
I was. That's why I am still mad today.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Let's not throw that out there. Let's not do that. We don't have another 2.5 hours for me to just bitch about Cyberpunk. Sifu, I am excited for Sifu, but the real coolness of this announcement is I've never seen a game company do that, where they were like, you know what, we're going to release it 2 weeks early. We've got this sucker in the bag.
That's almost like why wait? Why announce it? Why not just... 2 weeks before, if your game's legitimately ready and not full of just glitches galore, be like, hey, we're releasing today.
Yeah.
Just, why announce it
awesome.
2 months early?
They can't...
Seems risky.
That seems risky. They can't really do the surprise release with non-digital games because you have to have that.
That's
Like, you have to send out the copies.
still 2 months is
2 months is, yeah, it's risky. It's risky. This game does look really good, and it's from Absolver, and the game was Absolver. I can't remember the company's name, but very excited for this game. Very excited for this game. And that's it for odds and ends. We're gonna go to plugs. We're gonna get out of here. You ready for that?
Yeah.
I'm sure you are, because you never intended to be on the show in the first place. All right, we'll be right back with plugs.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes in. Do you have anything special you want to plug this week? You gotta speak up. You're so far away from the mic. It's giving me anxiety.
No. No,
You don't have to.
I don't have anything to plug. I mean,
All right.
no. If you need title work, give me a call.
For me, we don't have anything really new coming out right now. We're just plugging along and stuff. You can check out everything we have to offer on this channel. I would love it if you guys checked out our Twitch, twitch.tv/oldmangamingdh. I do want to give one final thank you to Kev Too Tall, and yeah, I hope very much this episode did him justice for all the stuff that he did for us. With that being said, I also want to ask everybody to send out well wishes and niceness to a tiny wizard and Echelon Cake on Discord. Obviously, it's not my place to talk about the stuff, but Caleb.
Really? That's
yeah,
Caleb?
but not to. I'm not. It's not my place to talk about their situation, but they're going through something pretty terrible right now, which is why Melissa had to step in. We thank Melissa for that. I do want to say thank you
Sure.
for jumping on. She had 3 hours of prep, and she's not a gamer, so I think you did a pretty good job considering. But yeah, please send out some positive thoughts to both of them. They're going through something pretty nightmarish right now. So, other than that, guys, you can check us out on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. The link will be in the description below. You can influence this and all of our shows from there. You can follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/OldManGamingDH. And as long as you keep watching, guys, we'll keep making it. See you guys next week.
Bye.